Phase 7A replat is a request to approve by final plat. Project number PLA 22-000017 is a plat application submitted by Volker Surveying on behalf of Michael Williams and Todd Snyder. They're requesting to replat lots 12 and 13 of Seacrest Beach on .19 plus or minus acres for the future land use of mixed use in a zoning district of traditional neighborhood development. The property is located in District 5 and can be identified by the parcel IDs in your staff report. If I could please enter the staff report as well as the accompanying HOA letter and memo that you all should have in front of you into the record, please. Thank you. There are some outstanding planning comments as well as surveying comments. They did produce a rather late resubmittal, so I understand that the surveyor has not had his chance to go through the resubmittal documents. Staff still has concerns about the placement of the proposed lot line, lot 12, being that it does, if approved, would create a minor non-compliant structure, as it's located 4.97 feet from the property line there, which should be 5 feet. That's all I have as far as the application is concerned. I could turn it over to the applicant if there are no questions.
Thank you, Stephen. We'll hear from the applicant. The applicant here.
Doesn't look to me.
Anybody representing the applicant for agenda item number 6? This appears to be a correction of an illegal lot split or an alteration done in 2002.
Yeah, the supplied memo does speak to that. It looks like there was an application that may have been started in that time frame but was never recorded, perhaps. So yeah, this is an effort to finalize those efforts, is what it appears to be.
Well, and I think we can help them fix this, but we can't create a nonconformity. So if they're willing to move the line to make sure that we have the appropriate setback there, and I'd be in favor. But we have nobody here to answer that question.
That's right.
Let me suggest we move that forward with this condition.
Yes, sir.
I'd like the applicant to be here to speak on this morning, but since they're not, that's my recommendation. And in the form of a motion, I'll suggest that we move this application forward subject to correcting the nonconformity.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Otherwise, hearing none. This item is approved, conditionally approved to move forward subject to correction of nonconformity. Thank you, Stephen, and you're standing in for Bob this morning. I appreciate that. Also, but we got number 7, canopies. Major development reviewed by Stephen Shaw. If you can give us an update on this one, please.
Yes, sir. The canopies is a request to approve by final order. Project number MAJ 22-000014 is a major development order application submitted by Anderson Engineering on behalf of Sowall TH LLC. They are requesting to develop 30 single-family homes and 50 townhomes on 20 plus or minus acres with a future land use of mixed use in a zoning district of Town Center 1. The property is located in District 5 and can be identified by the parcel IDs in your staff report. If I could please enter the staff report as well as the accompanying emails that you should have in front of you into the record.
All entered. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. This resubmittal did come a little late, so we have not had a chance to receive comments from Public Works, though in conversations with the applicant, it appears that there are ongoing conversations outside of the department here in relation to those comments. And it appears like they have had some middle ground reached there on some of those items. Additionally, the comments that planning has appear to or will be addressed in a resubmittal. There does not appear to be any issues in satisfying those comments. I will also say that the applicant has decided, I guess if you will, to honor the 80-foot right-of-way protection zone against Old Blue Mountain Road. That was a new comment, and the applicant is obliged to cooperate there. So, if you have any other comments for me or questions, I will turn it over to the applicant.
Anyone have any further questions for Stephen? We'll hear from the applicant this morning.
Yeah, Brian Osborne with Anderson Engineering. Yeah, as Stephen has mentioned, we worked hard to work with you and Stephen and Greg to make sure we meet all the requirements. We did receive some comments from Greg shortly after we resubmitted, and I think we met with them the next day, went up to his office and talked through all that stuff. And
July 20 comment letter.
yes, yep, absolutely. So I think we satisfied all of Greg's concerns that he had with that. I think one of the things that he had concerns with was the public versus private street. And, we prefer it to be a public. I think that's kind of the intent of the town center one. I think Greg is okay with that right now.
Okay.
And then, yeah, as far as the right of protection zone for Old Blue Mountain Road, yeah, we're just going to shift everything over. I think it's like 7 feet or so to accommodate that. So.
We appreciate that. That will be a new collector connector for between Chattahoochee and US 98. Will provide some tremendous relief for traffic congestion, and that is one of the county's transportation priorities that have been adopted by our Transportation Advisory Committee and also put into the TPO's process. So, and it's also on the list of projects for consideration for the sales tax.
Yep, absolutely. We're happy to accommodate that.
That will be a tremendous improvement once it gets made. The question is just how quickly we can do it.
Yep.
And that's all about money. So we appreciate that. Did you have any other questions about any of the other comments?
No, I do not. I believe we got everything pretty much wrapped up.
Specific floodplain comments that speak to making sure that we have the letter of map revision process completed before building permits on those lots.
Yeah, absolutely. That work is underway right now.
Anyone else have any questions for Brian? Thanks, sir. I think all the outstanding questions are resolvable prior to planning commission. We have a recommended motion.
Yeah, staff would recommend conditional approval based on satisfying all outstanding comments prior to moving to the planning commission.
We have a recommendation from staff. We have a motion to pass.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is approved to move forward subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments. It is a major development. It will get a public hearing at the planning commission and one for the county commission once it reaches that particular stage. All right, thank you, Stephen, for standing in for Bob. On the next one, item number 8, LSE Court. Item development to increase density and residential preservation. Interested to hear about this one. Is the applicant here?
That I don't know. Is Gulf Environmental Engineering or the owner here?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Would you like me to introduce it or turn it over?
Let's turn it over to the applicant.
Very good.
Hey, good morning. My name's Ron Rogers, and I'm not the applicant. I'm with Gulf Environmental Engineering.
Is she the agent for the applicant?
Yes, sir. We're the engineer of record on the job. It's basically a lot split that was done several years ago and didn't get recorded, so we're kind of cleaning this up. But basically, we're splitting the lot. We're going to put 2 houses on the lot.
Explain to me the lot split that did get recorded. Is it one that the county process was used on? Or was
Yeah, I think it just maybe didn't get submitted or something like that. That was way before I was involved with the project, so that's about all the information I have on that.
How did it happen? Owner just recorded 2 deeds?
Not sure.
And here's my concern. We're in residential preservation. This is a platted subdivision, and the density for residential preservation is 1 house per platted lot. There's no opportunity to subdivide a lot in residential preservation. So I need to know much more about the history of this before we move forward.
Okay.
Zoning doesn't allow it.
Yeah, I understand. We got comments, and that wasn't a comment. All the comments that we got from staff were pretty easy to deal with, so.
Except for it's not allowed in the zoning district. Unless you've got some other evidence that would suggest some special circumstance.
Okay.
And that's what I'm interested in hearing about.
All right. So will that be continued to the next meeting, or?
At a minimum, yeah, we can't resolve it right now. I can't move forward with this something that doesn't comply with the zoning district. We're happy to continue to give you an opportunity to further explain
Sure.
how we could accomplish this. But based on what we have this morning, I don't have anything.
Yeah, I understand this is the first that this issue's been brought up, so we'll reconvene and provide that information to you.
Continue to the next meeting, give you enough time to,
Sure.
and are you getting something back to us like within the next week?
Yeah, no problem.
We're happy to do that for you. Next TRC is August 17th.
Great.
We'll entertain a motion to continue this item to August 17th, 2022, at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. This item will be continued to the next TRC. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
This moves us to agenda number 9, the Origins Plaza Way. Minor development review by Representative Edwards. You can introduce it for us, Rosanna.
Good morning, this is the Origins Plaza Way, project number MIN 22-000038. This is minor development application submitted by McNeil Carroll Engineering on behalf of Watersound Town Center LLC, requesting to develop a roadway south of Origins Main Street and east of Origins Lake Lane on 1.77 plus or minus acres of a 55.12 plus or minus acre parcel. Future land use and zoning district of Bay Walton Sector Plan Town Center. The property is in District 5 and located at the northeast intersection of Watersound Parkway North and US Highway 98. It's identified by the parcel number in your staff report. If you could please enter the staff report into the record along with the updated comments that I received from Public Works this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
This project was continued from the July 20th meeting. They were lacking a few documents as far as landscaping and lighting plan. Since then, I have received those, few comments associated with those. Public Works still has some comments, but that was related to the multi-use path. And Fire Department had a comment regarding the width of the roadway. If you don't have any questions for me, I think the applicant is here.
Okay.
Yes, he
Any other
is.
questions for staff? for that overview, Rosanna. We'll hear from the applicant.
Good morning, Robert Carroll, McNeil Carroll Engineering, 17800 Palisade Beach Parkway. We did receive all those comments. We have a couple landscape comments. There are dimensions that were on the plans. I know the fire district had questioned, there was not a graphic scale, so the graphic scale, he needed that to double check the widths. But it is a 24-foot roadway that runs east-west. It's a boulevard roadway that runs north-south. Each of the lanes are 12 feet wide. Then there's a big median in the opening with no landscaping, so we meet all the clear zones. But we'll add the graphic scale on there, that way you can double check their measurements. Regarding Public Works comment, we had added the sidewalk across 98. We misunderstood that they want that as a multi-use path, which would be 10 feet wide. So, but to the east, we've got a 6-foot sidewalk in front of those apartments there, so we were just matching what was there. We didn't have multi-use there in the past, but if that's what the county wants, then we'll adjust that. And we'll work through the landscape comments. So the only minor items left, we were just respectfully asked if we could come out of TRC and get these comments addressed, and we can move forward with the development order.
They all look pretty minor to me, and I think the fire department is satisfied. And get comments addressed that Public Works provided. I haven't seen any reason to hold it up any further.
I'm good.
And we'll entertain a recommended motion from. Thank you, Robert.
I recommend to conditionally approve this minor development order and submit the DO once all comments have been addressed.
Thank you, Roseanne. I did have one other question. What's the region utilities?
I think they did have one outstanding comment. However, I don't know if the applicant addressed that with the last resubmittal. I just haven't heard back.
Yeah, Robert, are you familiar with this particular comment from regional utilities?
Yes, sir, but having the 4-foot of cover, yes, sir, we addressed that. We didn't send it separately back to regional utilities. We thought since they had reviewed it the first time that it would go back to them, but we can send it to them, but it has been addressed. It was in the resubmittal.
Just want to make sure you're aware of it. You
Yes,
have any issue with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. And I think we have a recommended motion to conditionally move this forward to development order subject to satisfaction of all the outstanding comments. If we could have that motion in the dice.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Hearing none, signing is conditionally approved and move forward to development order. And that moves us to number 10, the landing at Santa Rosa. A major development reviewed by Rosanna. Please introduce this one for us.
Yes, this is the landing at Santa Rosa. It's project MIJ 22-000016. This is a major development application submitted by Avcon on behalf of the landing at Santa Rosa, LLC, requesting to develop 40 townhomes, clubhouse amenities, swimming pool, and associated infrastructure on 10.03 plus or minus acres with a future land use of residential and a zoning district of low density residential 4:1. The property is in District 4 and located from the intersection of Highway 98 and East Hewitt Road, approximately 0.7 miles on the east side of East Hewitt Road, and identified by the parcel number in your packet. If you would please enter that into the staff report. Enter the staff report into the record. There are a number of outstanding comments still on this one. Public Works, Engineering had a few comments, floodplain, GIS, Regional Utilities, and still a number of planning comments. There are two things I wanted to point out. There's approximately 3.61 acres of primary wetlands on the parcel, which are not being impacted. There is a 16% impact to the secondary wetlands, which is about 0.2 acres, and that is for the internal roadway. Also affecting that area is north and south of the internal road. There are some proposed sidewalk buyout. I don't know exactly how much, exactly, they haven't provided a written request, but it is to reduce that impact to those areas. So,
I mean, to reduce impact,
to the secondary wetland. So the road runs internal. There are areas on both sides of that road that lack sidewalks.
given the development of our county and what is proposed between East Hewitt and West Hewitt, it won't be long. And sidewalk buyouts are not in favor with the Board of County Commissioners, as evidenced by the last QJ hearing, where they did accept one, but it was in lieu of an exemption.
Yes.
It may have been $700,000 a buyout. Let's take a few moments to hear from the applicant. Have they received all these comments?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Tanya Nation with AFCON. We are representing the owner. And we provided sidewalks throughout most of the community. There are a few small areas where we were not able to provide it on both sides of the road, but there are crossings to ensure that we are just trying to minimize any wetland and secondary impacts. As far as the comments go, we did receive all the comments late last week. There were a few comments pertaining to a gate location. We do not, this subdivision, or this community is not proposing to have a gate. There are columns in front of the entrance, but there will not be a gate that actually closes. So those comments, that was a concern of the fire district as well as Public Works. So those will end up going away. One of the bigger comments that Public Works had was that they wanted to see a turn lane analysis on Highway 98 turning on, I believe it was either engineering or Public Works that had the question, just to determine if there is the need for a right-hand turn lane onto, off of 98 onto East Hewitt. So we have engaged a traffic consultant to do that, and if it is warranted, then that will be included before we move forward to planning. Most of the other comments were limited. There was a lot of comments pertaining to landscaping, and we have addressed most of those. We've been working with regional utilities to ensure that their comments are addressed. Most of them were fairly minor. And floodplain, we'll be working with them as well, just to ensure that we're meeting all of their requirements. GIS did have one outstanding comment. And we have requested a road name. We have not heard back from them on that. We requested that about a month and a half ago, so we're hopeful that we have that approval soon. But as far as sidewalk goes, I do have the plan here, a color rendering that shows that, and it will be very small areas where we would need the buyout just to ensure that we have minimal wetland impacts. Because if we do propose if we do put sidewalks on both sides of the roadway in this one area, then it will result in wetland impacts and not just secondary buffer impacts.
Okay. Let me make a suggestion. Rather than proposing a buyout, propose an alternate location in the public right of way.
We can do that for sure.
Because at some point we will need, multi-use path on East Hewitt. I'm sure it's in the mobility plan, and I would look for that for any proposed improvements.
Absolutely, we could look at doing a linear foot per linear foot just as a extension of East Hewitt to ensure that in the right of way. One other thing that wasn't addressed or wasn't mentioned is that during our pre-app, the planning staff did recommend that we have a public meeting on this, and we do have a public meeting scheduled for this evening at 4 o'clock at the library in South Walton. So that is scheduled, and will be happening as well. It's not required, but we wanted to go ahead and get in front of that requirement, or just the need.
And that way, when you get asked in the public meeting, have you had one, you'll be able to respond.
Absolutely, yes.
Hopefully something good will come out of that public meeting that will be beneficial to the applicant.
Absolutely.
Have we identified a review schedule for moving this to planning commission?
No, not yet, we have not. We will, we'll get everything submitted back to the county within the next 2 weeks, so even if planning commission gets delayed a month and a half, that would be okay, just to ensure that everything is satisfactorily addressed through all of the different reviewers.
How much time to resubmit do you think you'll need?
We need at least 2 weeks.
Okay, do you want to continue to September 7th?
We can do that.
Should give you plenty of time to resubmit and our staff plenty of time to review.
That'd be perfect.
And let's do that.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on one second.
Oh, good.
Sorry, Matt. Stephen Tatum on behalf of the applicant. If the turn lane analysis comes back with no need for a turn lane, and since we're talking about the buyout being positioned somewhere along the public right of way, those are really the only two comments I believe that were of any particular substance. So if the turn lane analysis comes back with no need for a turn lane, is reviewed and approved, is there any reason for us to come back to TRC? And just be moved on to, we'll say, the September Planning Commission?
How about we do this? Let's continue to that date. And let's go ahead and commit to advertise for that planning commission,
Okay.
which will be the 9th, 8th.
I don't know, they get close when we start talking about the September TRC and the Planning Commission at the same time.
There's a lot of comments from this board. I mean, not a resubmittal yet.
Yeah, TRC and September Planning would be right on top of each other.
Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday. That would give us plenty of time to make sure all their comments are addressed prior to planning commission, and be able to report to them that the TRC is moving forward.
Okay, that works.
That keeps you on your schedule and helps us. also.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess the recommended motion that I'm going to ask for here at the dais is conditionally approve this and move forward to planning commission, subject to satisfaction of all outstanding comments, and continue this to the September 7th. I guess it would be simpler just to continue to September 7th, but commit to going ahead and doing the advertising for September 8th Planning Commission, expecting that we'll have all of this resolved, and we'll go into Planning Commission clean.
Agreed.
We have a motion at the dais to continue to September 7th and authorize advertising for Planning Commission on September 8th.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the September 7th TRC. And that will move us to item number 11. The Destin Land Connection. Unfortunately, Kelly is not with us today. So, let's hear from the applicant. Good morning, David.
Morning. Good morning, David Forstrom. I'd like to welcome our new engineering reviewer, John.
Thank you.
TRC. I thought your review comments were extremely helpful, and I really like the checklist format, which helps us make sure we, address all the issues. It's very helpful. We have received engineering review approval for the project in the stormwater. Public Works was okay with everything, except they did want an easement to be wider, to 15 feet. So the outstanding comments are really planning related. I know the list looks long, but I want to kind of go over where we are with it. We did address the survey issue. It took forever. We got the survey title opinion uploaded yesterday. Utility easement, that's easy to fix. I had a question on the request for the FDE permit application, because normally what I've done in the past is I wait till TRC approval, then I submit to like regional utilities and they review it, and then I do the DEP permit. So that's why I didn't do it yet. I didn't realize if it changed or.
We've had a request from our utility companies to
Good.
participate more robustly in the TRC process formally.
I think it's a great thing. Yes.
So, they support us, and they're required to provide service for everything that we approve.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that their comments get addressed early in the process.
Okay.
To benefit the applicant and to reduce the amount of redesign that might happen.
That's a great benefit.
And to also make sure that we're not approving something in advance of the utility company being prepared for
Okay.
to provide the service.
Okay, that's great. I will have that uploaded to South Walton today. So, and going through the rest of the planning comments, there was an issue which was talked about at the very beginning with this 33-foot platted right-of-way. And I guess there was some confusion, but I thought we'd resolved it. Public Works said, go ahead and dedicate it as a public right-of-way, but it'd be privately maintained by the HOA. So I'm not sure if, Kelly may have not been totally up to speed on that. She's done a great job on this project, but I think that comment doesn't apply. I think we still need to go ahead and dedicate it as a public right-of-way. To me, that's better than having it just on the plat, even though it's privately maintained. So I think that comment doesn't apply. There was another issue with the pervious pavers, and in pervious surface ratio, we took a factor of 0.75 for pervious pavers. That's kind of the way we've always done it. It's always been acceptable. Kelly says now they want to go with 100% for the pervious pavers. So, I mean, if you want us to do that, we'll do that. It's just, it was a kind of last minute. We were not aware of that until now. But if you want me to count the pervious pavers for impervious surface ratio calculation 100%, I can do that and still do the factor for the stormwater. I'll just need direction on that.
Well, it looks like the comment is the ISR was calculated with credit/reductions for pervious pavers and geotextile and must be corrected. So, sounds like you understand what to do on that.
Yes, I can work with Kelly that.
ISR is 60% maximum, and before that adjustment, we're at 59.8.
Right.
So,
Right, I'm gonna,
make some adjustment somewhere for that.
I'll take some out, yes. So, but our stormwater still should be good because we are at the max on the stormwater. Let's see. On the street trees, on Payne Street, we do have all the street trees, one for 25 feet. But as I understand, they don't have to be actually spaced 25 feet apart. And the reason we clustered them is we want to keep them away from the foundation of the building. But if you want us to evenly space them all the way across, we can do that. It was just, I thought it'd be preferable to keep them away from the foundation, even though we do have the 10-foot radius we need.
Well, the intent of street trees is to provide shade for sidewalks and
Okay.
aesthetic.
Okay, well, that's an easy fix. I can,
Of the development from the street.
okay, I can space those out evenly along the street. That's easy. I think,
How much longer do you think it will take you to be able to respond to all of these comments?
I can have them uploaded on Friday, because even though it looks like a lot, It's not really a lot. And Kelly did, on the 10-foot circle, she did say that was an oversight. She didn't say we do actually have the 10-foot circle around the landscape. But I can have these all uploaded on Friday with a response letter.
How about we do this? We have continued this project 12 times.
Yes, it's been painful
I know it has.
for everybody. It's a small project, but sometimes small projects can be very convoluted.
Here's going to be my suggestion. That we continue this to September 7th. Not sure if that's going to be enough time, but it's 3 weeks. Do you think you can get this in here in the next week? That'll give us time to review it. We've got to be able to, and I want you to take your time on this resubmittal, because
Okay.
we can't continue this again. We're gonna have to make a decision on September 7th.
Right, understood.
And it is not our intent to deny projects.
Right,
It's our intent to make sure that the project conforms with
sure,
the comprehensive plan, so we
Right.
can move forward.
right,
That's what we try to do here at DRC.
right,
But at some point, we're gonna have to say no.
okay,
So, and we've continued this one 12 times. We've got 5 different reviews
yes,
in the history here.
yes. There was some changes, it went from 9 houses to 8. I could go, it's been a lot of,
I know, and I've been here for all of it, but I'd like to see us get to the end.
Okay.
And our procedures, we're way beyond what our procedures typically would allow.
right,
We've been doing this for the benefit of the applicant, to give you every opportunity to bring this proposal into conformity with land development code.
mhm,
And we're gonna give you one more chance.
okay,
If we don't have all the comments resolved by September 7th, my recommendation is going to be to deny this project and require to start over from the beginning.
okay, understood.
And it's rare that we get to this point, but we can't continue this, you know.
Right.
We've all spent lots of time on it, and I know you've already spent all your money.
I've spent all my wife's money, so.
And I appreciate that, and I'm sympathetic to that. Let's see if we can get this one finished.
Okay, Kelly's always been very responsive, so I'll reach out to her, I get on it and try to get everything in the next couple of days.
We'll do our best to help you here in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Try to get this finished.
Okay,
But that's where we gotta be.
okay, great, thanks.
So I'll entertain a motion to continue this to the September 7th PRC, subject to resubmittal and satisfaction of all outstanding comments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All in favor, please say aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to September 7th.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. That appears to conclude our agenda.
So moved.
Motion?
Second.
Second.